there were, I think, like 6 or 7 of us. And I wanted to ask, bro, why is it so awkward to ask for separate checks when you go out?
Know.
Yes, indeed. What's uppers? Welcome to episode 5 of the It's Always Something podcast. My name is JD. I'm surprisingly good at Ultimate Frisbee, and I also miss watching the weekly TGIF marathons on ABC from back in the day. I would kill for some episodes of Step by Step, Family Matters, Full House, Sister Sister, Boy Meets World. Shout out to all the subscribing shouties. That's what I'm calling them. No, subscribing shouties on all platforms, whether that's on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and YouTube. Really appreciate it. Please, I am asking you politely to leave a review or comment. You have no idea how hard it is to wake up to see nobody leaving review. No, I'm just No, I would greatly appreciate it if you haven't done so already. Tell a friend about the podcast. We charted number 35 or 36 on the improv charts. It has been so dope, everything that's been happening, so I'm super grateful for all of you. Also, the merch site is up now. We have some It's Always Something merch up. If you go to bignightshop.com and under the Big Night Media umbrella there, you'll see stuff from the show. You'll be able to get beanies, crop hoodies, mugs, fanny packs, all that good stuff. Today on the show, on episode 5, we got to make it count. We have a social media juggernaut, ladies and gentlemen. 1.2 million followers on TikTok. Been featured on Good Morning America. 122,000 on Instagram. 20.2K subscribers on YouTube. And most importantly, only 1,600 followers on Twitter. Such a huge social media following, and he still managed to flake on his friends in real life by bailing on the Red Sox A's game last week. From the Nonsense and Nostalgia podcast, Lauren Ray and BMO the Prince, he is BMO the Flake, a.k.a. BMO the Prince.
I should have known there was going to be shade in there somewhere.
Yeah, no shit, man.
I knew it wasn't going to come clean.
Honestly, I have to grill you real quick here because BMO's such a piece of shit, man. Like, we all scheduled to go to the Red Sox A's game. And I'm so fed up with people flaking out on shit. I really am, because you make plans. And what do you expect, BMO? Like, did you expect me to eat the ticket? Did you expect the people in the group to pay for your ticket? You know what I'm saying? It's like there were no repercussions for you flaking. Everybody that flakes out on shit that just, you say you're going to go and then you don't. Like, there's no consequences.
Well,
and you didn't even like, hey, I'll buy you the ticket. Or I'll buy my fair share because you couldn't find anybody.
I sure didn't. But the problem is, because this is why I needed to get like a manager, and I might need more than one.
What the fuck are you talking about,
because
dude?
I am like you asked me and I was like hype about it. I was like, yeah, word. Like I don't think I got shit to do on Wednesday. I'm down. Like, let's go. But then I like get home and look at my stuff. I'm like, oh, I had like a whole meeting that I had to do during the game that like I contractually had to be at.
Right.
And I was like, oh, shit. Okay, well, I can't do that. Like that's why I need someone to tell me when someone asks me to do something, I just keep saying yes to stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not smart.
You can see the Hollywood just gleaming in your eyes right now. You can just see it from a mile away.
Man.
Look at that. I need a manager to tell me to not flake.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You didn't speak to my manager to get me here?
No, man. No, it was such a fun time, bro. I've just had enough. I've just had, maybe that's because I don't have real friends, and that's why people flake out on me. They think it's so easy. But no, in all seriousness.
But the Nashville A's did win, didn't they? Oh, I'm sorry. Is that touchy?
No.
Is that a touchy subject?
I mean, it would be a closer commute. I'm not going to lie to you. So in all seriousness, I know BMO from Amp Radio. He was a part-timer on there, and we got closer throughout the pandemic. And I have such a tremendous respect for what BMO does. And I think that during the pandemic, especially, I think because we notice how hard each other work, there's like a genuine mutual respect there. You know what I mean? Like, you can feel it. And, I think people in their lives, they come across moments where they know it's their time. And so BMO obviously got let go because the station flipped formats. We all got let go.
Awesome.
But BMO was a part-timer, so he would fill in whenever the Warriors would come to town, and I would go to TD Garden, or if I wanted to go to the Justin Timberlake concert, BMO would fill in for my show. And so, like, this is such a cool moment for BMO because he found a window during the pandemic, and he stepped right up to the plate and knocked this shit out the park. Like, it's really incredible. And the window, I remember we've had conversations about this. The window, sometimes when your opportunity pulls up, you can't miss it. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a small window, especially if people are enjoying what you're doing, especially in the entertainment industry. And so BMO, and this applies to everyone. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like BMO was in this situation, and then obviously when everything went down the way it was, his pivot, like, he not only found his niche, but he doubled and quadrupled down on it. And like really got to work.
So like the thing that and you know this, because you were one of the few people that knew I was doing this before anything, is like you say, don't let that window go by. You got to be like ready for it when that window shows up. And to do that, I had done, even before the pandemic, before they flipped the station, and I thought I was like employed. I actually low key thought like somebody was gonna be fired from AMP, so I thought I was gonna be scooping. Like a full-time spot.
BMO would be coming for my job,
like
basically.
I was sitting waiting in the weeds for somebody to like screw up.
As you should. That's what you're supposed to do.
And so I was like, in that time, just had started taking improv classes. And I took them for a year. And like just quietly in the background. And then finally was like, yo, we got a grad show. So I did like this grad show, whatever, at the Improv Asylum in Boston. In the last 2 months of the class was sketch writing. So I didn't even know when I signed up that they were going to teach sketch writing, but I always wanted to do it. That was the plan after the improv, but it was part of it. So a big part of the stuff I do is sketches, which is like I wouldn't have been able to do the sketches I'm doing now that like took off if I hadn't already been putting in work on just trying to get, because I thought the improv was just make me quicker for radio.
On your feet, right, yeah.
Like quicker with callers, quicker with whatever. And I figured, you know, if you're in entertainment, it's just good to have extra stuff in the pocket.
In the tool belt,
like,
absolutely.
Yeah. So I just added that, and then all this happened, so I just was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I love doing these sketches, and now that I can, like, throw it out there and I got time to try and put them together and think them up, doubled down. I thought they sucked.
Which is always how it is.
I thought they were pure trash. Like, hated the first, like, 5 I put out. And, like, 2 of them went, like, super viral. I was like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know comedy. Maybe I don't know maybe I don't know what's funny, but, like, but it worked. And it's exactly what you said, just being ready. And, like, and the other thing that I have to give you credit for is we had a conversation one time when I was, like, kind of new at AMP, where I just, like, emailed you and was like, bro, you have like, your show had content on top of content. Like, you had enough content to fill 2 shows, but you were throwing away more than some people brought.
Yeah, I threw away probably roughly around, I would say at least 60 to 70% of the things that I had ready for the show. I didn't even make air. And it was stuff you couldn't carry on. You had to, like, it was just gone the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was, like, one day, and you could tell, like, if you listened to it, you could tell that there was prep. There was, like, you showed up with shit to talk about. And so one day I just emailed you and I was like, bro, where do you get all this, like, content from? And you were like, everything's content. And, like, I feel like I knew it, but needed someone to say it because I never really thought of it that way. And then, like, the next couple of weeks, I just tried to keep that same mindset of, like, everything's content. If, like, you're walking down the street and someone trips and, like, eats dirt, like, and you think it's funny, guess what? Someone else thought it was funny. So, like, that's some stuff you can talk about. Someone else is going to laugh at, like, this story or whatever. And then since then, just everything has become content. And that's what happened. That's how I can keep putting out sketches, is because every day in life, some weird, like, people are dumb. Like, people are weird.
Yeah.
So it's just all content. And that's, like, a big part of what I do. And that came from you telling me that, like, one quick, just everything's content, bro.
I appreciate that. And you know what? I actually have to give credit to my co-host, or I mean, her name was on the show, La, because she told me that, in morning radio, and she gave me that tidbit because, like I was struggling coming up with things, and she was like, everything is content, and I just never thought about it that way. Even if you're not out doing things that you are doing at home was content.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, oh no, for sure. Well, that's dope. So I guess I can take credit for all of your success. Fantastic.
No residuals, though. Like
no residuals. I didn't sign anything, unfortunately. Do you want to give your spiel on how you blew up on TikTok and then exactly what your sketches are? And talking to the mic, too, in case this audio comes out shitty, like talk right into it.
I got you.
But here, I'll give you some, like, epic inspirational music. So this is how BMO blew up on TikTok and exactly what you're doing now.
I blew up because of a dance video, and like I don't do dance videos, like screw that. But it was because all the millennials had jumped on TikTok, like everybody had. I actually started TikTok because of AMP, because
we were starting to do it more,
starting to push it. So I was like, as a part-time, I was like, I'm gonna get somebody's job because I'm gonna be better at TikTok than everybody else. But I got on it. I saw the millennials like talking about shit, and I just saw a ton of videos where people were like, yeah, we're over 30 and blah, blah, blah. So me and the wife were just walking through a park one day, and she was like, I said, like all these TikTok dances, this dumb stuff, like we had our own dumb dances. We just didn't have anywhere to put them. And she's a dancer, so she was like, oh, we should do a dance video, but like a mix of some of our old dances and just throw them out there. I was like, oh, that's kind of dope. So we like recorded it. I said like, this is for all my people over 30 at the beginning. That's the reason it blew up, because then Gen Z kids were like, I know this song.
You threw out a number.
Like, I know who, what do you mean 30? This isn't for 30. I was like, first of all, you can know the song, but that doesn't mean it's yours. Like, don't come at me about Soulja Boy like that's yours. Like, we were doing that at dances.
You were not alive when Crank That came out.
Yeah, no, get out of here. So that was the first thing that blew up, but I was like, I can't follow that up because I'm not going to dance for you. Like, I can't dance. So that's when the improv stuff just came in, and I was like, I'm going to write some sketches. And the first one was based off all the Gen Z kids talking all that smack on my video, and I just used it and made fun of them. And then from there on out, it just became a thing where, like, millennials, Gen X, and, like, other generations were like, hey, you got to add us in there. Like, we need a voice in this room.
A voice.
And I was like, all right, cool. It representation matters. So
yeah.
So that's it. And because the only other one I did that blew up was because of 2020, and I just thought it was funny that like in the year 2000, we all thought the world was going to end. And then in the year 2012, we all thought the world was going to end, and nothing happened. And no one expected anything out of 2020. We thought it was going to be like dope. And then it came and was like evil as hell. So I was like, it'd be funny if like those 3 years were in a room and 2020 was like, y'all couldn't do it, but I got you. Yeah. Like I'm putting it
all
down.
Of these things are, so what he's basically describing, like when he says 2020, that's an actual character.
Yeah.
In the sketches. We're trying to explain it to stupid people. Remember that.
All right, listen.
That don't know what we're talking about, BMO. Like you're saying,
I got
you're flying all these things out. But the sketches that BMO does.
I forget this is your audience. It's not an intellectual group.
First of all, smart people listen to the idiot to feel smarter.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's really incredible because BMO put this tool in his arsenal. You know what I mean? And not only are the sketches not only are so catchy and they're so they're polished, you just don't learn that, you know what I mean, that takes, and I think everybody who's listening right now, you can be doing things behind the scenes to make yourself better, and you don't have to tell people you're doing it, because when BMO came in, he was like, hey, this is what I'm doing, what I'm working on. I'm doing this, stand up, and I'm working on sketches. I was like, dude, this is genius I said it at the time. I said, this is genius for you, because all of these things are going to help you in the event that you get a full-time radio job, but you found your niche, and usually, and I truly believe like when you find your niche, would you agree with that? Like when you found that these characters that you were doing in your sketches, they were working because because on these apps, other people have to care about your content almost more than you do.
Yep.
So
100%.
That's why they're hitting you up and you're like, hey, you need to say something nice about millennials or Gen Z.
Yeah.
Like they're fueling that for you. So it's almost like reverse psychology.
Right. Yep.
You know, where you're like kind of egging them on a little bit, and you found that niche of, okay, I've developed these characters and they're working.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that had to have felt
And it
dope.
was like I have like a few friends now that also try to do TikTok stuff or do TikTok stuff in like sketches and whatever. And the biggest thing I keep trying to tell them is like, listen to because you have to think about it. These people followed you for a reason, so they expect what they expect. That's why they followed you. So you have to, like, if you throw stuff out, you have to study each one you put out and see like what works, what hit, what didn't. If you go too aggressive and then people kind of like stray away from it, be like, all right, then that's not my vibe. That doesn't relate to them. I don't put that out well enough to stick with it. So like you got to know your people, your audience, all that stuff. And just like, it's not just a matter of, oh, I'm funny and I can put this out and everyone else is going to find it funny.
Sure.
Like you also have to support the people that are supporting you, and then others will come. Like don't stop stressing about numbers and all that other nonsense.
I want to talk about numbers because when people hear these numbers, like you got 1.2 million followers on TikTok, what is some of the research that you have done or are doing? Because there is a science to building. And when I mean science, I mean there are legit things behind the scenes with algorithms, and you think you know about algorithms, but you just don't, you know, and there are things. So
and the algorithms change like all the time.
Well, what research did you like read books? Did you listen to anything? Like what did you hear from people who already had those audience? Like what research did you do?
At first it was a lot of like, there were people on TikTok that started getting big by giving advice on the stuff. So they were doing the studying and just putting out videos to be like, here's stuff that works or whatever.
Okay.
So one thing that they were saying early on was like, it's the same as radio, actually. You know this. Like, you got to catch someone right at the beginning of that break.
Right away, you got to hit them right in the face, come out the gates.
If they hear your voice and you're doing radio, like, no one cares about the jock.
Right.
So you got to hit them with something that's going to make them go, oh, wait, what?
Sex! And then they're like, oh, I'm in.
Yeah. So I tried to find a way to put that into videos, and that's what started working is like, I always started my videos with like millennials and millennials drinking, because that was the first few videos, that's what hit. And everybody right off rip knew. And people were even saying, anytime I see the millennial with a bottle, I hit like. I already know I'm going to enjoy this video, and I stick with it. So it's like it's almost like they get trained to what they know this is something they want to see. So they just already are vibing with it. And then I did like a Disney Prince thing where the princes were all like hanging out. But I didn't start with like Prince. I can't even think of one of their names. Like Prince Florian. Who's he?
I have no clue.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I would start with the nameplate of Aladdin. Everybody knows Aladdin. So now all of a sudden you see Aladdin with a beer, and you're like, all right, where's this going? So you give me a couple other seconds to set up and pull you into this world, and then roll through with the other Disney princes. And like, lots of people don't know their names, so it's a quick like explanation of like, oh, you and Snow White were doing this. Now they know this is the prince from Snow White or whatever. Just simple things for, like you said, like dumb people. Like if you're on TikTok, you're just trying to watch mindless, like funny, dumb shit. So no one's trying to really like think. So if you make it easy and explain it and just put it in their face, it's so much easier to do that stuff. And that's where I started studying all that for how to catch an eye and hold it and build it and make sure that each 1 minute or 30-second video has its own tiny little story arc. So it's not just like funny, it's done. It's like funny, and it goes somewhere, and then we like end it.
Is it? I mean, if you're listening right now, your mind is blown, because I'm telling you,
it's
because
weird.
I want to reiterate to people that this is not easy. You know what I mean? It's fun. Don't get me wrong. Like the industry is really fun, but there is a level of preparation that I really admire BMO putting in behind the scenes, because it's paying off for what he's doing now. It's kind of like, you know, you're it's not overnight success, like, you know what I mean? Like there's really time put in, and that's the, like, when someone's great at what they do and they can make it look easy, it's because the execution part is usually the easiest part.
Yeah.
Like whenever I went into my radio shows, the reason why I was able to knock out 70% and have 70% of what I was doing not make the air, I was so prepared. So even if I had a few seconds before I didn't know what I was going to talk about, I was ready regardless.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's a level of preparation that I read about, I studied about. So people, you know, they go viral for, you know, their unique moments. But BMO has been able to have people stay, and like you've been able to grow your brand. And I want to actually transition here, because another thing that I really fuck with BMO on, that I think we can all learn something, is that I remember BMO told me that he had a fear of doing stand-up comedy, right? Hold on, give me a second, because for me, it's one of my deepest fears too. Yeah. I know I can do it, but I'm like, I definitely can be vulnerable here to be like, that is something I'm scared to do.
Hell yeah.
And it honestly is because you're scared to fail. And so with this fear thing, what I admire about BMO is that he said, I'm terrified at this. I know it could be good, it could be really bad, but I'm going to do it. And so BMO did it. And I told you the moment you did your first set, I said, bro, it doesn't even fucking matter, G.
Yeah.
Like, you've done it, bro.
Right.
Because when you have a fear, no matter what that is, people think about whatever that fear for you in your life is. Explain attacking that fear and actually executing it.
Even not even just the stand-up part. I was afraid to post this first sketch I did. Like, even that, because to me, it didn't reach the standards I wanted, and I was like, people are gonna hate this, and like, I don't trust it. And you're always your own worst critic, so I was afraid to put that out there, and that worked. But the stand-up thing always like seemed dope, but like everyone
what
who talks
scared
about
you the most about it
was like failing in front of a bunch of people and not the silence, like knowing that like even if people thought it was funny and just were quiet, like the silence is like, oh,
the silence tells you you're not funny.
yeah that would kill.
It's a vulnerability.
It would kill. And so many people who do stand-up, and comedy is such a way that like my brand of funny might not hit you. So I might just be in the wrong crowd for the night or whatever, but that, it hurts because you start to overthink it.
So how'd you attack it, BMO?
I just I was lucky. I met somebody, Kathy Farris, who's a stand-up comedian in Boston, and she was like, hey, if you need like help just figuring it out, I'll help you, but you're already doing it. You're already writing comedy, and it's the same thing. You're just doing it, acting it out. So you're still writing set up, punchline. Just form it into just like a story that you're just telling and go up on a stage and do it. And I was like, all right, well, shit, I guess. And I just sat down and started writing stuff. I think the first one I did was about like fetishes and how weird I thought they were. And it like killed. I did not expect it to be that. I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was like, all right, and it was true.
Do you have one of the jokes now you want to say? Do you remember it?
I can't even remember it. I think there was something about like wearing the leather. Like, I don't understand the people who wear the leather fetishes, like how tight it is, because sex is a workout, right? It's a physical activity, so you work up a sweat if you have a good session. And I've never gone to the gym and seen someone on a treadmill in a rubber bunny outfit.
Okay.
Like
all right,
shit like that. And it suctions all the sweat in. I think there was something about being like a gothic meatball sub, like a ton of weird stuff about like the leather fetishes and how strange it is, because it's gross.
I'm following.
Like, it's gross. So it was and my buddy is like super into feet, so I just basically roasted the hell out of him at the end of it.
Feet always hit. You could talk about feet forever. People are sick fucks about feet.
Gross.
Yeah.
Gross. I don't even know why I'm still friends with him. But it was stuff like that, and it was the same thing. It was just content is content. So I just found what naturally had happened in my life. Me and him argued about his foot fetish and me being like, you're a disgusting human being.
Right.
And just turned that into a bit and said it, and it worked. It's
but doing
crazy.
doing it is still the hardest thing to do because you're still writing
Yeah.
these things, but you still had to perform. So I think,
And that's that's the worst part. Is like,
yeah,
it's right before. I feel like, so I'll tell you, this is how I feel about like entertainment in general. And this kind of my improv grad show kind of was the moment where I was like, oh, this is stuff I need to be doing. Because I had written 3 sketches that had gotten into the grad show. And the first one was the opener, the cold open. So like the SNL cold open of our show. And stupidly, I wrote myself as like this ringleader of all the social media circus. And I had to go out by myself. We ended up packing the place out. So it was a packed house. So it's like 250 people or something like that. And I'm just standing there waiting for them to finish the introduction to the place and waiting for that spotlight to hit. And I was terrified, bro. Like literally just shitting
I can
bricks.
feel that nerve, like the nervous.
Yeah.
I know that nervous.
And just like I wanted to throw up.
It's
I was
fear,
like,
anxiety.
I was like, I'm gonna fuck this up. I
Yeah.
can't do this. It's gonna be terrible. No one's gonna find this shit funny. And all that stuff's going through. And then boom, the minute he finished his spiel and that spotlight hit, I swear to God, it was like I was high.
Yeah, it's a blackout.
It was the weirdest thing. And I don't know if I had ever felt it before, but right then I was just like, and I was gone. And then I didn't come back to earth till the show ended. And everyone else was like, oh, that was so great, blah, blah, blah. And I literally was sitting there like, yo, I had like an out-of-body experience just now. That was crazy.
I can relate, yeah.
So that's the same thing. And that's kind of why I want to fight against all those fears, because I want to see if that is on the other side of it again and see if that's something that's for me. And the only way I find out is if I go after it.
That's exactly right. I don't remember the Will Smith quote. I don't want to try to come up with it. I remember him talking about attacking fear, dog. You know what I mean? And it's just, and so I have a confession to make. I played a golf tournament last week and I finished tied for dead last. I tied for 75th.
Oof.
And I honestly, the reason, and it was crazy because Jim Murray, who was on my last episode,
was talking,
gassed me up, bro. Like, and so I was feeling so gassed up. I was feeling like Tiger Woods, bro. And I went out to this golf course and I was, I've been playing good and I shot 96, right? And people who play golf, and pretty much think that I should probably not show up. Like I shouldn't have shown up. Let me put it into context in other life scenarios what shooting a 96 is like. It's like shooting on the other hoop at a basketball game. Like if you played pickup basketball, it's as if you legit were shooting, like no matter what happened, like even when your team passed you the ball, you went the opposite direction and were making layups.
You left everyone in the dust.
Correct. And then like number 2, it's like everyone dresses up for a night out in Vegas and you put on pajamas after rolling in dog poop. Like that's another thing. Okay. So you're not wearing the best stuff. Like you're rolling in shit and you're wearing PJs. It's like using, sugar the entire time when you're cooking when you needed to be using salt. That's what shooting a 96 felt like.
Yeah.
But the reason why and how I'm tying it in here is because the reason why I started doing tournaments was because I wanted to know what my body would do when the lights were bright.
Yeah.
And I clearly puked on myself, but I felt fine about this one. I played in one last year and then, this was my second tournament. But the reason why I'm doing it is because when you have one shot that matters and you have to play by the rules and competition golf is different, I wanted to feel what my body would do.
Yeah.
I wanted to feel the stress. So if you got like a fear in your life and like BMO explained the anxiety that he was feeling, the out of body experiences,
heavy, bro.
You know what? That's how I felt, playing these tournaments. I was debating sharing that story. It made me so depressed.
You could have never said it again because Murray built you up.
Oh, dude, he gassed me up into something that I am just not. And so I was thinking about, but no, I knew when I left there, I was like, listen, this is why I do it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see how my mind reacts mentally and I wanted to see how my body would react physically. And then when you're out there and you're playing like shit, feeling those emotions, even like if you were bombing on stage,
oh hell yeah,
you
feel it.
You feel it in the middle, and if you got 10 minutes left, you're feeling it.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I have had way too fucking serious of a conversation with BMO because we are not like this in real life. But
No,
I
we're
think
not.
it's really important because I will continue to tell BMO what I think made me gravitate towards him was the fact that you put in the work and there were legit no shortcuts. And I think there's an appreciation for what we do that like, I'm like, yo, I fuck with this dude. And you can have people in your life like that you, depending on what they do, like you can just tell by their habits that this person, regardless if they're an interior designer, if they own their own business, you see the work that they put outside.
So like funny you say that because the other day, because like I've reached a point where like I don't want to vibe with people who want to take shortcuts and shit because it's just like
you get exposed super easy, like and eventually,
like,
right?
It irks me. So I grew like never got a haircut in the pandemic, so it was just like getting a little. People thought I looked like Russell Wilson.
And you're married, so you're like
minute,
washed, so no one gives a shit what you look like anymore.
So it was weird. And then when I went to go find a new barbershop or whatever, I went to this spot in Waltham, and like dopest cut I ever got. And so Waltham isn't like close to me. It's like a 35 minute drive. And so just the last time I went to go get a haircut, we were talking and he was like, yeah, because I got stuck in traffic. He was like, why, what traffic did you get stuck in? I was like, well, usually it takes me 30 minutes. But so the GPS said it was like an hour, blah, blah, blah. He was like, you drive that far to get here? And I was like, bro, because I appreciate that you give a damn. Like when I come here, I don't feel like I'm getting a rushed haircut where you can go to a spot where someone's going to just trying to get asses in seats and get heads out the door.
Quick buck,
and just keep getting to have the money roll in, where he's like, no, I don't care. I don't fill out my day because I don't care if I have 3 people. I want them to get the 3 best haircuts I could give. And I was like, bro, that's why I'm down to drive this far, because you guys give a shit about what you're doing.
And that's how people come back. And well, number one, let's just put it out there. When you find a barber, you do anything.
Yeah.
You do absolutely anything. That person is a family member. It is like, it is family immediately. But I think with that said, the reason why that's such a great example is because when you go to like a concert or whatever, you can clearly tell, and it's instant, anybody, that person enjoys what they do.
Yeah.
And so like, that's why BMO's been able to grow his audience the way he has, because he's not only been consistent, he enjoys it, and you can see it, right? Okay, so put out your handles right now, just because I feel like people, if they haven't.
It's all just at BMO the Prince, BMO the Prince, everything.
And it's not like everything. THA. You spell it like a normal person.
Yeah, I thought about it because I think Charlemagne the God has THA, and I was like, you know what? Like I'm gonna put an A, and then I think it might have been Sarah, my wife, that was like, nah, you're not cool enough for.
Yeah, huge mistake.
Like you can't do the A. If you're gonna put Prince, like you can't just go with the E.
That's my old radio name was Bruce Trillis, and my old program director was like, yo, I'm changing that shit now. I'm like, dude, I like just got my name. Like, I just got my radio name. You can't take that from me. It's like, someone, like an OG breaks that down for you. It's like an honor to get that. And then my guy was like, no, because Bruce Trillis can't host the breast cancer walk and do the club.
That's true.
And I was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's fair.
So like, there's can everybody tell that this is like a business? Like, and BMO's getting these endorsement deals and whatever. So there, you can clearly tell the way BMO is describing what he does, that there's just levels to this shit. There's just there's really levels, and the higher you get, the higher your expectations, and
like right now, everybody's trying to pop off. Everybody's trying to figure out how, like, what's the recipe to be big up on TikTok, and I'm like, you got to look at it like work.
Well, when you get there. Let you achieve the success, then what?
Exactly.
And if you're like, okay, so you chase that, like I would ask myself, well, then what am I doing here?
Bro, so this is kind of rant, but I was mad as hell because there was a point, like, we're starting to come out of this pandemic, and naturally, like, you know how it's going to be. People are going to go out. They're not going to be in their phones as much. They're still going to be in them, but it's not going to be like when you're locked in during a pandemic. Yeah. So everyone's numbers are going to go down a little bit. Like, you're not going to grow at the same speed you were when we were locked inside. And I saw mad people on TikTok being like, oh, well, I'm not growing like I was before. And, you know, it just seems like this app has changed. And I don't know. I just don't think, I think I might just go back to the way I was doing stuff before and just like leave this app and blah, blah, blah. And these are people with like 500,000, 700,000, million followers. And I was like, bro, that is such a heavy fuck you to all those people that just invested their time in you. Like they followed you and they spend time out of their lives to watch stuff you put out. And you're just going to give them a middle finger because you're not growing as quick as you were. Like you didn't make it. Like you're not like, I don't know, The Rock. You're not like this huge thing right now. Like keep supporting the people that are supporting you. Don't like, just because you don't feel like you're getting your due or whatever.
Fuck that, bro. I let them give up.
Like like give them their stuff. Like I understand the people who are like that weren't prepared for what that
came
entails.
their way. Yeah.
Like I understand those people because like once you get there, that it's heavy. It's a responsibility.
Sure.
But the people that are just whining because it's not going as fast as it was. It's like get over it. It'll come back,
Bro, I always
like just keep doing what you do and it'll come back. Find your spot. Maybe you have to do it less because you probably have to go to work now and shit. But like, don't just like middle finger everybody and dip and ghost everyone.
I encourage those people to get out of the way. I have no problem. I wouldn't need to save those people. I'd be like, yo, this makes it way easier.
I mean, I'm not gonna save nobody.
That's why. Right. Before we get out of here, I wanted to ask you just because these things kind of came across. I had thought about these, and because now I want to talk to BMO like he's my homie, like my friend.
Now we're gonna shit talk.
Yeah, because we've had enough. We've done the professional talk, and so I went out the other week, and there were I think like 6 or 7 of us. And I wanted to ask, bro, why is it so awkward to ask for separate checks when you go out?
Know.
I'm serious because I have no idea why it is so awkward to ask and to do it like right away because you feel like you're like a dick if you do it right away. But I was thinking, like some people want appetizers, some don't. Some won't eat as much of the appetizers. Some people bought drinks. Some people bought more expensive drinks. Some people bought more drinks than others. Some people's meals were more expensive. Some people showed up late. Some people came in, like I said, came in late or they have to leave early. Some people got a side salad. Some people got soup. One person got dessert.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, there's no way to split the fucking check even. You don't do it. You don't say split that Marissa or Derek, down the middle.
And even bigger, I don't care who's sitting with you. No one is trying to do that math.
No one is trying to do the math.
No one's trying to pick through and be like, all right, you got the potato skins? All right, so I didn't get any potato skins, so that $6.99 is yours.
You're delegating,
right?
yes.
So here, like, no one's trying to do that shit, especially if you had some drinks and, like, you're feeling good now. No one wants to bust it down and then be like, all right, now we got to figure out, like, you kind of went a little crazy, so you got to, like, just fucking give me my own check.
We'll have shots for the table.
Yeah.
Who buys all the shots. So, and it was even with Venmo. You're sitting, you're counting everything, figuring out the tip. Like, people don't pay what they owe. Some people pay more than their share, and it's like, and then if they don't Venmo you on the spot, then you have to hit them up later, and you have to be like,
send the request.
Hey, I need that $40.
Yeah.
And so I was, John, how do we fix this problem? How do we fix this? JD, what are you gonna come up with? What solutions? And I was thinking, do I have a keychain? Does every person get like a little card? Because it has to be figured out right now. And does everyone get a little card? And then, the waiter or the waitress scans your shit and you'd be like, hey, you got all this and it's easy. And then people pay the check at the end. And then it was I had just had enough. I was like, because it took forever to like figure out the check situation. I'm like, dude, I didn't get any of this shit. I didn't want that.
And then the vibe's gone.
And then the vibe is gone. I don't understand it. And so I'm glad that that's where we're at with separate checks. Right? Do you agree with me?
I hate that too. And you do feel like a douchebag when you're like, yo, can we get separate? Can we? Like, it always feels like you're being a jerk to be like, I don't want to pay. It's like you're trying to say like, I'm not paying for your stuff. But when naturally, I'm not paying for your shit. Like, that shouldn't be an actual, like, we should understand I'm not paying for you. Like, unless I said to you before we got here, like, I got you, bro. I'm not paying for you.
Correct.
Don't expect this.
Correct.
So, like, it shouldn't be weird when I want to get my own check for the stuff I got.
Then
I'm
you're
not going to
bringing
make you
up-
pay for me.
Then you're bringing up old habits. Hey, remember BMO, you owed me $30 from blah, 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 blah. You know, then you're like reaching into your bag
Yeah.
of tricks of like old times.
Hell yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Bro.
It just,
Now you
it
got me kinda worked
I know
up.
it got me hot, dog. It just got me hot. So everybody
That
just,
is,
just say you want separate checks from the jump and don't make it weird. Plus,
easy.
when you're out, you don't believe addition matters. I said it when it came to like Ubers and Lyfts when
Yeah.
I was just like buying things. It was like, oh, no, you don't believe that all of these things added up to to what it was. Okay, so your podcast, this is the final question, then we're going to go into your charcuterie board. So BMO does a podcast with Lauren Ray, who was on Amp Radio. She did the morning show with TJ.
Yeah.
So they have a podcast called Nonsense and Nostalgia. It's doing really well as well. If you guys want to check that out, do you want to just give a brief background, just a quick sentence or two about what the podcast is about?
It's basically just like the millennial shit. It's just because we're both millennials, and it's just like dumb stuff from life and dumb stuff that like we remember because like kind of that 90s vibe is hot right now. So we're just talking about all the old vibes, all the memories, nonsense, and just dumb shit from life and being like 35 and having bad knees or being 33 and having a bad back for no reason.
Watch your mouth.
All that.
Because I am 33 and I do have a bad back.
Bro, so am I, and so do I.
Yeah. So it's called Nonsense and Nostalgia. Go ahead and check that out. I want to ask you a question around that because this was another thing when I was thinking about why separate checks got me so pissed off. I was wondering and I'm gonna offend a lot of people right now. Are people who don't have kids allowed to attend or like Disneyland or Disney World?
I think you are. I think you are allowed, but I'll wait till there's a kid in the picture. Someone asked me.
Answer the question, BMO. Is it okay if you don't have kids to and attend? Like, you enjoy going to Disneyland or Disney World?
I say to the park, nah. You can enjoy Disney.
Like, if you wanted to go with a friend, I'll include a friend too, like two of your friends, you know, like.
Nah. I'll say nah. I got a lot of crap for this in my DMs because I booked a trip to Miami and they were like, oh, don't go to Miami. It's crazy down there. You should go to like Disney or something. I was like, I don't have any kids. I don't need to be in that place. Like, I love Disney movies and stuff, but I'm not going there. Like, I'm not going to like meet Mickey with my homies. Like, no. But like, no.
Do you want to know how it came up? Because I have some friends. I have multiple friends that like have the ears, you know.
Oh, they got the ears.
And they go.
Stop.
But they go
as adult humans.
Yeah, they like go to Disneyland and Disney World. It's Disneyland because they're in California, and it really set off creeper vibes to me. It's just like,
weird.
yo, you're a and don't tell me that you're going because they have like a booze section next to cars.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh, I'm so sick of, you can go drink at Epcot. Okay, so you're doing a whole trip just to go to Epcot? Get out of here, bro.
I had to ask because it was something that bugged me because I follow some people, multiple, that they like go for fun and it just fucking creeps me out, dude.
It's like, nah. When I have kids, I'll go and then it's kind of dope because you're sharing like memories. But like me as an adult,
yeah,
I don't need to be there, and I don't want to be surrounded by a bunch of other people's kids.
I forgot to mention that the show is produced by Big Night Media. I should have thrown that in there. Hurley, does your mic work?
It does.
Yeah. What do you think about grown-ups going to Disneyland?
This is tough because my sister actually works for Disney.
What?
Like, she does animation.
Okay.
Oh.
So she actually gets a free pass to Disneyland. I don't know
But does
how many.
she like go by her? That's different.
I think she and
Yeah.
her boyfriend goes.
Yeah, but that's not
So-
fair. When you can do it for free, I might like.
But yeah,
I'll
it's
go
a little
anywhere
weird.
for free.
But I mean, it's the rides. It's
Yeah,
an amusement
and you have to
park.
get inspired, so that's different. So that
Yeah.
doesn't.
I guess it
count.
depends on the rides you're going on, right? Too.
Wait, if you go on a Matterhorn, it's okay. Like, or if you go on
Yeah.
Space Mountain, it justifies being a grown up. You're like,
Yeah.
hey man, hey, no, I'm going to
all
Space
right,
Mountain.
All right, there's
As
a
long as I don't
difference.
go to It's a Small World, and I'm
I
fine.
know.
There's a difference between going on the Matterhorn and going on like the teacups as a grown
Yeah.
adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think if you walk in as an adult,
It's
you're suspect to me.
It's a different look.
Okay. Well, that was all that was on my mind. So so on your charcuterie board, you have a bunch of disgusting. If you're watching on YouTube right now,
I think it's beautiful.
He has a Celtics jersey. He has some ball
Yes, sir.
caps. What made you come up with this charcuterie board?
Well, all right, let's go from the front back. So, as you know, we have a well-storied rivalry, Celtics versus Golden State.
Yeah, we go to every.
And,
well, you don't go to every year because you usually flake out, but you went this year.
So I knew I would come here and the Steph photo was going to be here.
Oh, you know that, bitch.
So it's also important for me to represent, especially considering at the Warriors game this year we went to, we won.
Yeah, it's 3. I've lived here for 6 years, and it's going to come down to an emotional Game 7, unless I can just leave the state somehow by the end of the year.
One of my favorite Celtics moments, and this is legit, like one of my favorite moments, was leaving the Garden, because I've never gone with a fan of another team. Like and leaving the Garden and it was a tight game, like a last second type of win.
Dope.
Walking out, just having the Garden faithful, especially after a year where it couldn't be filled and no one could go to games. We're all just walking out behind you. Warriors.
Yeah, I was getting crushed. Yeah, I got crushed.
Whoa. Oh, it warmed my heart in so many ways.
Yeah, I got crushed. So yeah,
I live and die with them. I'm all green all day.
So you got some ball caps too. You got some tequila.
We got our banter. Your big night squad.
Shout out, yep, squad.
My Batman stuff, because I've always been a Batman kind of dude. And to go back to like the work thing, I always thought Batman was dope just because he was the regular ass dude that was like messing up super people. Like he had a plan for everybody. He always had a plan. There's like, I'm gonna nerd out. There's one book where he literally like he screws up the whole Justice League because he had a plan for how to beat everybody. And he was like, just in case you guys cross me, I'm gonna fuck you up. Like just understand that. I know how to fuck you up. And I just think that's dope. That's why I get the Batman tattoo with it. Like it's all there. So Batman, I mess with Batman pretty hard.
Had I had not known you were married, I for sure would have thought you were a virgin without question. Without question. Based off that explanation. He just always knows what to do, but he's fucking up, man. He has a plan. You see my tattoo?
Hey, listen, he's a gangster. People hate him all you want. He's a gangster. He's a rich-ass gangster.
Hey, Hurley, before we get out of here, me and BMO, we're going to do a sketch because BMO's known for his sketches on TikTok. And so I wrote a sketch, and BMO got fucking Hollywood on me, G.
I did a little bit.
I sent him the sketch, and I was so excited. I said, dude, this is hard to do. And so I wanted to do a sketch with BMO and tell people I wrote it just so they can see how good he is, right? And this guy fucking fake laughed at it, number one. I know you fake laughed. And then number two, he like hit me. And this is how I knew he was mad uncomfortable. He's like, yo, G, if we do this, you're going to fuck up my brand. Like he hit me and was like, yo, I wrote something. It's in your email. Go ahead and check it out. You mind if I make some adjustments? I'm like, bro, this is supposed to be shitty. Like, you do not understand that?
Yo, I got too hype. I got hyped up.
He got gassed up like this was gonna be it for him. Like this was gonna be it if we went with this sketch.
I'm surprised we got him in today.
That's what I mean. Who'd have ever thought I thought he was gonna flake out today. So,
bro,
I want to ask you: do you want us to put up the sketch that I wrote and not tell anybody, or BMO's sketch and not tell anybody?
And also, I want to put it out there that like he had like all my characters and shit in there, so
Yes.
I would have to bring all this stuff and like be changed. Like it's work. I was like, let's do one that's easy, and I can just wear the clothes that I wear and go through it.
You wanted to half-ass it. So which one do you want?
Well, so I guess the big question here is, do we feel like ruining BMO's brand?
But what if my shit is tight?
His shit is, he 100%, even if it wasn't tight, he would be down to destroy the brand. He loves it. He loves that shit.
Just a teeny bit.
He's too
Which one do you want to
for
see?
it.
Do you want to because that's the one we're gonna post. Do you want to see the one? Which one of our sketches do you want us to post?
I mean, let's be
because
honest.
he's our guest, I think we should go with BMO's.
My man.
I'm
He
sorry,
knows.
JD.
He knows.
I think we could possibly leak yours later. Like if it accidentally gets leaked somehow later on, like.
Or we can have hella
It'll be-
people in the comments fucking hate that shit. And be like, yo, this is whack. I want to hear
This
what
is trash.
JD's was. I want to hear what JD's was. Wait, dude. That's a potential. All right, so we'll do BMO sketch. We'll throw that up. And if you guys think it's trash, I tried to help. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
The guy has 1.2 million, but I tried to get him to 1.3. Fuck me, right?
Man.
You know what I mean? Fuck me, right?
Listen.
All right, we'll wrap it up. You talk. Do you want to add anything? One more time, give your handles out.
At Bimo the Prince. Go follow that. Do not follow at the actual JD.
Right.
Because he's an ass.
Correct. Are you going to tag me in any of this shit, or am I just going to...
Not now.
Oh,
Nah.
okay, for sure.
Nah. Fuck that. You coming for clout? Fuck that.
Episode 5 of the... Why the fuck else do you think I have you on here? You're not my fucking friend. Episode 5 of the It's Always Something podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, appreciate whatever platform you're rocking us on. And we'll catch you next week for episode 6, baby. West Side forever, man.
Should listen to my podcast instead.
That'd be nonsense.